Hey everyone, it's Rachel. Welcome back to another week of What's for Dinners. This was a tough week, but we did manage to get dinner on the table every night this week. I started off our week of meals on Sunday with some neck bones. As some of you may know, we have a half a pig in our freezer, and so neck bones is something that I was trying out. After doing some research, I decided to throw them into my Instant Pot and get them cooked up that way. I just added some apple cider vinegar and some house seasoning to them, and then just set my timer. I'm getting some potatoes ready, and my husband saw me peeling potatoes like this. I was using a skewer just to kind of get my fingers out of the way. Potatoes get so slippery when you're peeling them, and he said you have to share that on your channel. So anyway, that's how I got my potatoes peeled on this day. And here I'm just getting them cut into quarters. So once those neck bones have done their cooking for the initial time, I'm going to add the potatoes and a gravy packet. Neck bones and potatoes was a meal that my grandma would make not constantly, but every now and then. And so I've had them before, but I've never made them myself. So it was my first time making them, and they sure were just like grandma's. And so I know that she did not cook them in a pressure cooker. She did them right on the stovetop, but this kind of cut out some of that time, and they were ready in no time. I just added some chicken broth in there while I was cooking those potatoes, along with that gravy packet. Made sure that my lid was on sealing, and then just started the process over again with 10 minutes this time. And to go along with this meal, I just heated up some seasoned collard greens, and then I made up a pan of cornbread, because of course you gotta have cornbread with greens and neck bones. Here's my finished plate or bowl. If you've never had pork neck bones, I truly think you should try them. Monday we were having some of the kids come over, so I just decided to make a kind of make your own breakfast burrito bar. So to get started, I'm just getting some onions and bell peppers chopped up, and so I'm just going to saute those up a little so that they're kind of like fajita style. You know how they kind of have a little bit of softness, and they can just scoop on whatever they want onto their burrito. I thought just having all of the ingredients cooked up and ready to go would make it super easy, and everyone could make their burrito the way they wanted to. And so in the skillet, I'm just getting those peppers and onions added to a little bit of oil, and I just add a little bit of garlic and salt. And I just let them kind of do their thing while I was cooking the other ingredients and getting everything ready. I decided to put a sheet pan of hash browns into the oven and see how that worked. And then I got busy just cutting and cleaning up these strawberries. I just was thinking with kids, they may not want burritos or whatever, but I knew that they would go for waffles if they had that chance. So I decided to put out some strawberries and make up a platter of frozen waffles and just set it beside the toaster just to make it handy. Once my sausage was all cooked up, I just put it into my crock pot just to keep it warm. And I just used this same frying pan to make up a batch of scrambled eggs. So that was just one way to simplify it and make it a little easier on myself. I just want to say that baking these hash browns was not my favorite way to make them, but it worked. But everything else turned out great. All I had to do was scramble up those eggs. And here is how my breakfast burrito turned out. It was so delicious, and there was so many leftovers that I actually ate breakfast burritos for dinner and lunch the next day, and possibly even breakfast the next day, but I love them. On Monday, I started feeling like I was coming down with something, and on Tuesday, I knew for sure that I was coming down with something. And so I was in the mood for some chili, and I decided to make it in the Instant Pot. I am using a pound of venison hamburger and a pound of pork sausage. On saute mode on my Instant Pot, I am just browning up both packages of the meat together, and they are so lean. I did add some oil into the bottom because you generally have to add oil to venison, and I wasn't sure about the pork, but I knew that I really wasn't getting much oil off of it whenever I cooked them for other dishes, so I added that grease in there, and I just kept stirring and scraping the bottom of that Instant Pot liner just to make sure that nothing was getting stuck to the bottom. I didn't want to get a burn notice. I added some of my taco seasoning that I made myself. I had some peppers and onions left over from Monday when I made burritos, so I just threw those in as well. And Instant Pot chili is really so easy. You just throw all your ingredients in there and just forget about it. I'm using a couple cans of the mixed bean chili mix, as well as a can of tomato sauce. I'm pouring in the remainder of my chicken broth, which is about a third of the container, and I'm going to give it all a stir. I do end up using 2 cans of those beans, and then sorry for the annoying throat clearing. I am still recovering from being sick. But anyway, I just get everything mixed up together in the Instant Pot. And then I'm going to come back in with a couple cans of water as well. You do see me adding those beans now and then the water as well. We just want to give it some liquid. It is going to thicken up some too as it cooks. And so this is the finished product. And I don't know if I showed it on here or not, but I did add some crushed red pepper flakes because we do like a little bit of heat, although my taco seasoning is on the hot side. But this chili was so good. We always love chili. It's never the same twice in my house, but we really did enjoy this venison and pork chili. And since we don't always have venison, it was a treat. On Wednesday, I was trying to be a little more present in my videos, but I managed to cut off the top of my head, so I apologize for that. But here I am making a cracked chicken pasta in the Instant Pot. Another day of an Instant Pot meal. It was just something I've been wanting to try, and I don't use my Instant Pot very often, but I did use it quite a few times this week. So first you saw me cubing up my half a block of cream cheese. This recipe does call for a whole block, an 8-ounce block, but we don't really care for cream cheese recipes, so that's why I don't really make them that often. And all of those cracked recipes always call for cream cheese. So anyway, I did a half a block, just kind of made a consideration for it and our tastes. And so I'm just getting my ingredients around. I have my ranch seasoning packet there and my big bag of sharp cheddar cheese, some bacon bits, just getting my liner ready, and then I get to work getting the fat trimmed off of my boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And I am using the whole package of 4. I do have some big eating boys in my house, so I have to feed them accordingly. Didn't want anybody to go hungry, you know. And I didn't bother to cube the chicken. I know that this is going to cook down very tender, and I'll be able to shred it with a fork or with the meat masher. And after getting my hands all washed up and getting that cutting board into the sink in my area prep back up for cooking. I'm just adding some of my house seasoning, and that is just some salt and some pepper, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. So then I'm going to add my ranch seasoning packet. And since I was making such a big batch, I kind of thought maybe I should use 2, but it worked out fine for our taste. If you really like a really strong ranchy flavor and you're making it with this much chicken, then maybe you would want to add more seasoning. I don't know, but this worked for us. So then I added about 3/4 of a box of chicken broth. I added my bacon right in at this time. Now you can use fresh bacon, and we do have bacon on hand, but I like to save the good bacon for days when we're eating it, like for breakfast or on sandwiches or something. So in a recipe like this, just getting that good bacon flavor cooked through is enough for me. So next I put in the cream cheese, and then I'm just going to kind of put some things away and make more room. And I'm using a cup of 50/50 here. So now this is ready to go on the Instant Pot, and I'm just going to get that seasoned up with some salt and pepper here. Although there is some salt in my house seasoning, it's not very much. So I just want to make sure that it's salted and peppered to our taste. I will share the original recipe that inspired me in the description box. After the chicken was cooked and shredded, I added the pasta, and then I added some chicken broth and some more 50/50 just to make sure that all of those noodles were covered. Then I added my cheese and then set it back to sealing, and then put more time on the timer and let it finish up. I made 2 different types of canned green beans because that's what I grabbed by accident. Some garlic bread on the side, and then topped everything with some grated Parmesan cheese. And this was a really good, easy meal. And cutting back that cream cheese was just perfect for us. This is the way that we prefer it. And that was our 3rd Instant Pot meal of the week. By Thursday, I thought I was feeling better, but I wasn't, and I was kind of knocked down to the canned chicken noodle soup, you know, the good stuff we used to get when we were little and we weren't feeling well. So on Thursday, they just weren't getting Mom to cook. That's all that was going on that day. I just could not do it. So I just made some toast for myself, and I'm doing cheese toast, and I don't know if anybody else does this, but I just make some toast and put some butter on it, and then just slap a couple pieces of sliced cheese right on top, and then pop it in the microwave until the cheese is melty. That's what I call cheese toast. Not to be confused with toasted cheese, because that's like a grilled cheese, right? I don't know. Friday was pretty much a repeat of Thursday. Come home from work and just wanted to lay down on the couch with my heating pad. But I knew that I needed to make dinner this night because I was hungry. And it wasn't like, oh, hey, have someone else in the family cook, because they were kind of coming down with this too. And since I was on the tail end and they were just beginning, it was up to me to just suck it up. And so I had read somewhere that you can make a whole ham in the Instant Pot in very little time. So that's what I was doing. I just plopped a ham in there. I added about a cup of water into the bottom, 2 capfuls of apple cider vinegar, and then I just drizzled some honey over the ham and then sprinkled on some Creole seasoning and then put the lid on and set the timer. And then for this dinner, we just made some instant mashed potatoes, which I always have in my pantry, and some corn. And voila, that ham was so tender and delicious and just fall apart good. It used to be that you only had ham on the holidays, right? I mean, who has that kind of time, especially when you're sick and it's a work day? Unheard of. But it was so delicious and such a treat. This was the best ham ever, I think. On Saturday, Bill and I just could not come up with anything that we actually felt like we really wanted to eat. So we just decided to keep it super simple and just fry up some of these smoked sausages. I just cut them lengthwise and then fried them in a skillet, cut side down. And then we just made some mac and cheese to go with it.
Say my name or say it twice. Shed this layer of overthinking.
And that is it. We did another whole week of eating at home. Even though there were days when we just didn't want to cook, we still made it through by using our Instant Pot and keeping it simple. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.